Hello everyone and welcome to Hollow Knight. This game is a popular 2D side-scroller that has you play as an insect-like creature that explores the fallen kingdom of Hollow Nest. You not only explore vast places, but you meet multiple characters within each area. The game has various types of combat with common enemies and difficult bosses. The game issues a light challenge to players while telling the story of the past and answering questions that were unanswered. Today I'm going to play a short demo and give my thoughts on the initial parts of the game. Before we start, however, I want to disclose that I was nervous about giving this game a try. I'm used to playing games that have next to no stakes. Normally there's very little combat and next to no threats, but that simply is not the case with Hollow Knight. It is a direct challenge to the style of game that I prefer, so I stepped out of my comfort zone and gave Hollow Knight a try. My hopes are that I enjoy the change and can successfully navigate through an unfamiliar playstyle. Let's take a look at how it went. I opened the title screen and immediately realized how different this playthrough was going to be. The aesthetics are entirely the opposite of what I'm used to. The themes are dark and mysterious, almost a little mystical if I may. This is a vastly different environment and I'm excited about it. The game opens with a cutscene of what seems to be an imprisoned beast. The chains are holding it hostage and it seems to be at rest. However, it begins to awaken. The core shines bright and the face gains what appears to be eyes or maybe faces. Is this our antagonist? Will we see this beast? Soon, I meet the protagonist. It's me. The game immediately throws me into the tutorial. Really, the only buttons that are important are jump and swing. I immediately took to cutting all the grass. The love for cutting grass is not exclusive to my farming simulators, alright? To the left, there was a rock full of geo. That's the money here. I gained 15 geo and moved on. I found a pair of walls that looked like I could wall jump, but I don't think I had the skill to do it yet. I jumped up those walls multiple times and nothing would trigger a wall jump animation, so I decided to walk away. Embarrassingly, I stayed in the first room for several minutes. I desperately wanted to wall jump in the previous room, but that wasn't the answer. I was stumped. After a moment of just swinging my weapon, it's called a nail, I found that I could break the obstacle that was blocking the next hallway. There were multiple of them, so I ran and swinging as fast as I could. I quickly arrived in the next room. The first challenge I ran into was the platforms. I found that the controls were incredibly sensitive. I would miss the platform by the tiniest amount nearly every time. I also learned that the stalactites can fall on you as you pass by. I was able to avoid the first one, but I may not be as fortunate in the future. After a bit of wandering, I arrived at a gate. It looked to be breakable, so I swung at it until I could pass. The gate opened with a crash, and I walked through to find a huge ledge I needed to descend. I wasn't sure if I could look down first, but I jumped off and landed far below anyway. Apparently, we don't take fall damage in this game, so that was a nice feature to learn about. I had arrived in Dirtmouth. The first person I ran into was an individual named Elderbug. He welcomed me to the town, but forewarned that everyone who once lived there now resides in the caverns below the well. They went to the well one by one and never returned. People who travel below the well are known to go mad and lose their memories. But of course, I had to immediately jump into the well, just like everyone else. After my descent, I had arrived at the Forgotten Crossroads. Here, the darkness rules. Light illuminates the space from lamps or lightning bugs. You can hear enemies crawling nearby. It is both welcoming, but made me err on the side of caution. Right away, I ran into the first enemy, a Crawlid. It was an easy enough enemy to take out, but it will be the first of many. After a little exploring, I found a cartographer named Cornifer. He offered me a map for 30 geo. Now, a map would be helpful, but it doesn't show where you are on it. He mentioned his wife Iselda offers a compass in their shop up on the surface. We'll have to make a trip up there once I figure out how to get around. Now, I want to introduce to you my least favorite enemy that I encountered in this entire demo. It's called an aspid. This thing comes in multiple varieties, but the two I'm talking about are the hunters and the mothers. The hunters spit this weird orange goo at you, and the mothers birth children that attack you. Both are just a blast to try to defeat. I had entered a room and there was my first aspid hunter. I was desperate to try to kill it. I attacked and attacked until it was defeated. In the same room that I ran into my first aspid hunter, I found a friend. He appears to be a green little caterpillar in a jar. He is formerly called a grub. This grub was so happy to see me. I released him from his little glass prison and I felt like a hero. He didn't stick around, but I hope he found his way home. After releasing the grub, I found a little cove with georocks in it, but there is this one platform that I just kept missing every time I jumped. I fell from the ledge more than once, and I made the same mistakes over and over. I couldn't help but feel silly that a platform was giving me trouble. While traversing the caverns, I got locked in a room with my favorite enemy. It started with one, and I took it out successfully. Then it turned into two, and both were spitting the weird orange goo at me. I am no expert at dodging, so I got hit more than once, but I was able to take them out. The doors lifted, and I figured exploring the room wasn't a bad idea, but the damn stalactite got me when I made it to the top of the platform. Well played, game environment. The next room had a bunch of golems that I had to navigate. I was able to time my jumps just right until I got greedy. There was a rock full of geo, but it was blocked by a golem. I thought I could make the jump, but I fell right into the pit. I lost 2 lives, and then died for the first time during this demo. I respawned all the way back to Dirtmouth. This shocked me, honestly. I felt like I lost a ton of progress. I still had the map, but geez, I had to walk all the way back. Before I left Dirtmouth, I visited Iselda, the cartographer's wife. I didn't have any money, so I couldn't buy any wares, but I kept a mental note for later. There were multiple items that I had wanted. I returned to the Forgotten Crossroads and began exploring in a different direction. I found the home of a couple of grubs, and I was so excited. They're just little guys. They gifted me geo, and I was grateful. I hope that as I rescue more, they will appear here. I'd like to visit them all one day. After even more exploring, I found a guy who just wanted to give me a hug. He was a husk bully. He wasn't difficult to defeat, but I felt a little bad. He acted like he wanted a hug, and I just stabbed him for it. Then I found another guy, just like him, that had a pointy head. He immediately charged at me, less inviting this time, that's for sure. Then there was a guy who was jumpy right after that. There are so many personalities in this room. Eventually, I came across a cave with pink crystals. Inside, there was someone named Mila. They were mining for treasure, I guess. They invited me to join them to sing songs and mine, but I passed. I did break a few crystals, however. No rewards, though. In the same area, I found a statue that gifted me soul. I hadn't used it much up to this point, so perhaps it was time to use the focus feature. I had forgotten it existed despite being told to use it by a statue previously. After roaming, I found the Temple of the Black Egg. It was incredibly dark here. This egg took up the whole room. Is this the beast I saw in the opening cutscene? Is this beast really just a massive egg? The face appears to be the same. I'll keep this one in my back pocket. I climbed back up to Dirtmouth to visit Iselda. I had finally collected money, so I wanted to purchase the compass that Cornifer mentioned. Sadly, I couldn't afford the compass, so I grabbed the bench pin instead. After returning to the caverns, I continued to saunter about. Everything started to look the same to me. I was wondering if I was going to keep running in circles, but I found a hot spring with a bench. Finally, a new save point. Then I fell into acid. Twice. I was pushed the second time, as an FYI. I also fell into spikes and died for the second time. There was a lot of mindless meandering after that. For maybe 10 minutes, I kept revisiting the same places over and over. But I found something new eventually. I found this huge guy with a big sword. He is a Huskguard in formal terms. The music instantly got scary when I ran into him, and I thought, yeah, I could take him. No, I couldn't take him. I died immediately. I tried to jump over him, but he's just simply too tall. I went to rematch him, but there was this shadow. It almost looked like a shadow version of me. It was just standing there, waiting for something. I walked closer and it attacked. Surprisingly, it only took a couple hits to defeat, but what was that? I didn't have time to think about it because the big guy was right behind the shadow. He charged and I ran. I thought I found the perfect spot to fight him in because he couldn't reach me. But I was wrong. He killed me for the second time in a row. I wanted to keep trying, but I believed my skill in combat just wasn't refined enough to defeat him yet. I need more practice. I know this is a strange place to cut it, but with that, I ended my demo of Hollow Knight. Admittedly, this playthrough didn't go as I had expected. Honestly, I thought I might be more skilled at the game, but turns out the lack of practice hurt me. I struggled a lot with combat. Sometimes it went really well. Other times I was hit when I could have avoided it entirely. It felt as if the combat required a skill that I just hadn't developed. But I want to make it clear, I am not blaming the game for this. This skill issue has nothing to do with how the game performs. Frankly, the game performs incredibly well. I really enjoyed it. The aesthetics are amazing. I felt fully immersed even in such a short period of time. The music, my god, the music is amazing. The whole experience was great. The only thing I had an issue with was how sensitive the controls are. I missed the platforms not because I hesitated, but because I didn't push the joystick to the left by 0.5 millimeter. Beyond that, I would definitely recommend this game to people. I find it fun, explorative, and exciting. I believe that Hollow Knight can offer a one-of-a-kind experience to a broad audience. I want to see more of this game, but I need to practice the combat mechanic before progressing. I want to be able to stand on my own 2 feet before the game gets truly challenging. I feel that Hollow Knight has a lot to offer, and I think I want to see more. While it is a huge change compared to my preferred gaming style, I believe that I should keep going and see what I'm missing. Hi everyone, thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and thank you in advance for not making fun of me in this playthrough. If anyone has any tips on how to not suck at this game, please share them with me. I truly think it boils down to practice, but anything to make the grind less strenuous would be great. Let me know if you want to see more. I am really interested in seeing how the story plays out, so I'd be happy to show more gameplay. Feel free to subscribe if you're interested in cozy games or just like to see people try new things. Regardless if you stick around or we part ways, I hope you had fun with me. I'm looking forward to seeing you all again. Stay healthy and stay safe, and I will see you next time.